Welcome to the Outsourcing Blueprint, where scaling your business gets smarter, not harder. Hosted by Scott Smith, an outsourcing expert with over 20 years of global experience. From India to Alaska to South Africa, Scott's passion for people drives his mission to help you build powerhouse teams created for success. Grab your coffee, your boldest dreams, and your blueprint. It's time to build the business you've always wanted. Let's go.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Outsourcing Blueprint. I'm your host, Scott Smith, and today I am super excited because I have a dynamic guest, somebody that I've gotten to know a little bit over the last few weeks. And Sofia, if I get this wrong, please correct me. Sofia Rozhko?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yes, I was worried about saying Rozhko. You can't even say it now. Rozhko properly.
We have a really difficult surnames in Ukraine. Yeah, the specific Rozhko.
Rozhko. See, if I was to practice that, I would get great. And I'm Smith, so it's just almost not fair that I would have to say Rozhko. But Sofia, welcome to the Outsourcing Blueprint. We're excited that you are here. You are founder of The Body School, a groundbreaking online platform that is revolutionizing the way that people build healthier, stronger, and more energized lives through expert-led fitness and wellness programs.
Yeah, that's true. I just wanted to mention, I just thought that my sister, she recently got married, and her husband's surname is Smith. So she's been Rozhko, now she's Smith.
Oh, see, now we're practically cousins, I guess, then.
Yeah, I think so.
Or something.
Yes.
So I'll take that. I could use that. So you're based in Spain, but right now you're out of the country, right? Because you're traveling.
Yeah, I'm traveling. Originally, I was born and lived my whole life in Ukraine. And when the war started in Ukraine, I've been on a holiday with my family in Spain. And we just decided to stay in Spain for a little bit till everything will be settled. But unfortunately, the war is still going on in my country. So I live in Spain now, in Valencia, beautiful city and beautiful country.
Yeah.
And now I'm staying in another country in Europe. But yes, I'm traveling a lot due to my work.
Very good. So yeah, based in Spain, coming from Ukraine, you have a global perspective, deep industry expertise, and a passion for helping people unlock their full potential. We're going to talk about this today, but your entrepreneurial journey seems like it's all about blending science, soul, and strategy to help people create a transformational experience.
Yeah, that's actually a nice description of my job and my everyday work, because I'm really passionate about what I'm doing, and I've been a nutritionist for the past 12 years. And I started the Body School 10 years ago. We would have like a big anniversary celebration this August. So yes, it was a long journey, and it's really exciting journey for me and for my team. And I would be happy to share this expertise and my knowledge today.
Well, I'm excited for us to talk about that. So this is how I start all of my interviews. Okay. And it's always this first question. Sofia, what is your boldest dream?
That's a beautiful question, because I when I saw this question you sent to me, I really thought for a while, because it was so difficult for me to pick something up. I said, like, what is my dream? To be the best entrepreneur in the world? Maybe not. To be the best nutritionist in the world, or to be the best mom or friend or something like that, to earn every cent, every dollar in the world? Maybe not. So I think my boldest dream is to feel fulfilled, truly happy and aligned, because this definition, personally for me, it changes with the time. Because sometimes it means scaling my company, sometimes it's being fully present for my daughter. She's 4 years old now. Over time, it's about going deeper into my product and development of the product inside the Body School. So what makes me feel really empowered is having the freedom to shift my direction throughout the time, and to change and to choose my priority, which brings the most fulfillment and happiness into my every day of my life. So to me, that's the definition of success.
Wow. You know what? I think everybody wants to find that level of fulfillment, right? And being aware and trying to stay present and know, like, at times it's this and at times it's that, but ultimately really finding that fulfillment, that's beautiful. And I'm confident that you're going to get there. If you don't feel like you're already there.
Sometimes I'm just feeling that when I'm focusing on something that is really important to me, I'm losing something else. It's always I have this FOMO that I'm missing something when I'm focused on some of my priorities. But that's life. You could not be extremely successful in every area of your life every day. You need to choose what is more important for you today.
You know what? I think that's a good point. I got counsel several years ago. I was in an interview at church one day, and I was describing some of the things that I was struggling with. And the gentleman that I was talking to, his name is Gary Smith. Gary looked at me and said, no relation to me, by the way. Gary looked at me and said, Scott, life is all about choices. And that resonated and it has stuck with me, Sophia. Life is all about choices. And we have to pick and choose the things that we're going to focus on. You're right. We are not going to be perfect or great at everything all the time, every single time. That's part of our human nature and part of our human journey, you know?
Yeah, I think
But
that's important to accept that and to stop comparing yourself to some influencers you see online because you just see the part of their life. You don't see the full picture, so it may distract you from your life.
right. Well, and it's those little snippets, right, that we see from influencers that sometimes make us, because they give us the best snippets of the best moments, and
Yeah,
they're
that's right.
staged. Those are staged snippets. So most of my life is not staged snippets. So maybe I need to have more of those staged snippets. That way I can put a better picture out there on Instagram. But okay, Sophia, tell us about your journey. What inspired you to create the Body School?
Um, I think the Body School was born from my personal experience. In my early 20s, while balancing university, studied at university and my work, I started gaining weight. And I realized that I have no knowledge how food in general works and how my body functions. So I realized that I need to change it somehow. I tried to fix it with exercise and some workout routines, but I quickly understood that food always comes first in terms of your health, wellness, and your general well-being. So, but the problem was that I never like to follow rules I do not understand. So if someone is saying that I'm not allowed to eat something or eat something in a particular time or in a particular combination, I would never follow this advice until I will understood how it worked from the science perspective. Because I have my degree in ecology, I studied a lot of biochemistry, chemistry, biology. So I always need this deep understanding how things works to follow those rules. So I discovered how broken, let me say like this, how broken my relationship with food and my body was, and I understood that if I will not try to understand this deep origin of the food and influence of the food on my body, I would just come into this never-ending diet cycle that a lot of people following outside there. So a year later, I lose weight. I start my educational as a nutritionist, and then the Body School happened. I started my business, and this year we celebrate 10 years anniversary of the Body School. And yes, that's everything happened because I needed this change for myself, but not just some list of recommendation I would follow, but some deep understanding how I could build this healthy relationship with my body and food for the long term to have this long lasting result.
I think that's really fantastic, right? The recognition and the not wanting to follow things that you don't really understand. So getting the depth of understanding so that what to do. So I think I told you the first time that we met, I have struggled with my weight my entire adult life. And in fact, even from my youth, so I was a very active, athletic teenager. I played American football all through my childhood for 10 years, right? And so I was very nutritionally, I guess not really the right kind of nutritionally focused. I was very focused on higher caloric intake because I was trying to build muscle and maintain strength. And when I stopped my senior year of high school, my 12th year, right? I stopped about halfway through after football season was over, but I continued to eat to the same level that I had been eating before because it was what I was used to. And the way that my body, I think most bodies are programmed this way to an extent. Some people are not. They're genetically blessed and they don't have this problem. But for me, as soon as I, stopped the output and kept the intake, I went, I think that's what happens to most people when their caloric intake significantly exceeds their energetic output. They start to put on fat because your body naturally begins to store fat, and it's like, oh, we have a surplus. This is what we do with it, and for some people, they don't seem to fight that battle in the same way, but I certainly do. And I have struggled with it now for the last, several decades of my life.
Yeah, that's true, because sometimes our energy expenditure changes because of some circumstances. You could start doing your exercises, or you have more sedentary work, let me say. So that's really important to understand in general how much energy we take out from our plate, just to calculate it, to understand how much calories are in different kind of food. I would not say that I would recommend to all of my clients to count calories for the rest of their lives, because it's not sustainable,
Right.
honestly. But to have this first understanding that we have how much calorie we have in portion of carbonara or in some burger, etc., that's really important.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. Awareness so that kind of what you're doing. A lot of people just, we eat mindlessly and we don't pay attention. I think awareness is super critical in that regard. With the body school, it's a very health focused business. It's not just I'm talking about nutrition, I'm talking about diet. It's not just a diet focused business, right? You're balancing several things. So, but you're also balancing the business side of things. So how do you balance the business side of growth with staying true to empowering people's health? That's your mission, right? So how do you stay true to that mission?
Well, I think every practitioner who turned to be an entrepreneur would understand the struggle, because that's a really, really complicated question. And this is the question I wrestle with most often. So as a founder, I'm responsible for cash flow and for sustainability of my business. For my team, we have 30 people working in the body school.
Wow.
And that's a big team for just me as a founder, because I'm the only founder, I'm the only responsible person in this business. But as a practitioner, the health and the trust of our client is my top priority. It always was like this, and it stayed like this, and that will stay like this, because we are working with the health of people, and they trust us, and they trust us with something the most important they have in their life, their health. So, and wellness is the really tricky industry where people and some businesses try to manipulate with some kind of information in terms to sell this information in the most efficient way for business. And
Yeah.
it's a lot of, let me say, potential to sell some tricky information and not to completely tested or proved information to people, because people get so overwhelmed with everything they see online in Instagram and TikTok. So they do not understand who they could trust in terms of their health, and they feel lost. And it's an easy point to start manipulating with people's fears, because they're scared about their life and their well-being. So, but my values and our values in the body school and our mission is always comes first, because I always remind myself that I build something that I want people to share with their loved ones. And people rely on me, people rely on my team, and that keep us grounded in truth and professionalism, and always to put our client needs and client health first. That's our top priority. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the right priority, keeping your client needs first, your client's health first. But I mean, you also have to, you have a daughter, right? And you have
Yeah.
your own health that you have to take care of. And you have to stay healthy, not only for you, but for her, right?
Yeah.
And as an entrepreneur and a founder, and I can speak to this for myself, we're very busy people and we have a lot on our plate every single day. And, I have recently made a list of my daily non-negotiables, things that I absolutely have to do every day that I cannot let slip. What are some non-negotiable health habits or even other things that are non-negotiable for you that you have to do every day that you personally maintain?
I think I would define few of them. First is my sleep. That's always number one priority, because I believe that my productivity starts in my bed. So if I didn't have my 8 hours sleep, or at least 7 hours sleep, I would feel so drained the whole day. So it's like no caffeine will help me to feel more energized, because I'm this kind of person who could drink the cup of coffee and just go to sleep straightforward. So caffeine really not works for me.
Sure.
The second one, and now I try to minimize my caffeine intake and alcohol, because that's disturb my sleep routine, especially alcohol. It's really difficult to limit your alcohol consumption when you live in Spain, because I think the whole country, the wine in general, that's a huge part of the culture. And when you're meeting someone over the dinner, or you're inviting someone, people always bring the bottle of wine. And I'm saying like, no guys, sorry, I would skip this, or I would drink alcohol-free wine. That's my new discovery, or alcohol-free beer, because I know that alcohol helps me to fall asleep easily, but then I'm not having this deep sleep throughout the night. So I'm often awake, I'm going to toilet, it disturbs my sleep, and I'm just trying to limit the alcohol consumption. And third one, I think it's morning breath work. I started doing this a few years ago. So first time in the morning, when I'm just waking up, I'm doing from 5 to 10 minutes to lower an anxiety level, because that's something that you have with the huge to-do list of everything.
Yeah.
And when you're waking up, you just start thinking, okay, I need to do this and that. I need to bring my daughter to school. I have so many tasks to do. I forget to do something yesterday. So it really brings me a lot of anxiety. First thing in the morning, before I take my phone, before I check my emails or something, I'm doing this 5 minute breathe exercise. I could just find something on YouTube, nothing special, just some random stuff, because it helps you to focus on your breath and to start your day in a way that suits you, but not the rest of the world, because you are the top priority for yourself. If
Yeah.
you're waking up with a clear mind, and you're not setting yourself up to be focused on something, then the world will do it for you. That will distract you from your goal. And that's something that we have in an era with a lot of information outside. And I think the food and movement is also my priority. I'm trying to have 3 main meals throughout the day. I'm not a huge fan of snacks, because they makes me sleepy. They influence my blood glucose level. Even if I'm trying to do some high protein snacks, I'm not a great fan. I love to eat 3 big meals throughout the day. My portion, they're really huge. I think I'm eating a lot, a lot of big portions, but I'm having this 3 structured meals a day, and I'm also love exercise. I would not say that I love to exercise. In general, I don't like sport that much, but I just know how it influenced my stress management. So now I'm playing tennis. I'm going to gym and I start cycling a few months ago. It's my new hobby. I just loved it. I just love this outdoor workouts. So yes, I think that my 5 non-negotiable health habits. And from productive side, I'm even when I'm working on some particular task, I'm not switching my focus to something else. So I'm not so good in switching my focus from task to task like all of the rest people. And it's when I'm working on some task, my phone is off. I'm not getting any emails. I don't get any disruptors. So that's helped me to feel more present in a task I'm doing right now.
So I think that is so important. You said so many things there that I think people are going to get a great deal of value from. Um, I'm going to kind of go in reverse order a little bit because I want to talk a little bit more in depth about some of those things. And so I am terrible about switching tasks as well. I don't do well with that. And, I have somebody that I follow that I have followed for years. I've read all of their books. I interact with them regularly in social media. We sometimes go back and forth. And one of my favorite things that he does for me sometimes is send me voice messages on Instagram. But Robin Sharma, I don't know if you know who Robin Sharma is. He is he's written several books.
Oh my God, this is my favorite book, I think. Yes?
Yeah.
Robin Sharma, my bad because I don't know how it's book called in English because I read it in the other language. Uh, Leader with No Title is his
The
book.
Leader Who Has No Title. Yeah.
That's my oh my God, I have this Guskin. It's my favorite book, number 1 book. I love this book. Do you know this guy in person? Oh my God. I will cry now. Honestly.
So Robin is the person that I lean on for guidance and for support. And I don't know how many other people he does this with. I'm assuming it's a lot of people, but he'll send me voice messages on Instagram from time to time. And I love the personal nature that he approaches things with. Now I'm all distracted and excited because I love Robin Sharma and now I know you do too. And so now I feel like even a better connection with you. He talks about 5 great hours of focus. And, he's like, people will spend a whole week trying to get 5 focused hours of work. And so you have to shut off your devices. You have to, eliminate the distractions and you just have to focus. And if you can spend however many hours a day, he recommends 5, but if you can have however much focus on just your masterwork, whatever it is you're working on for that day, then you're going to get so much done. And so I actually think that task switching can be ineffective. I don't think that multitasking works. I think it's distracting. So I don't think that you're wrong. I think that in fact you nailed it with that. You have to be able to really dial in your focus, right?
That I just want to say a comment about this book because it's so incredible. When I was at my 20s, I worked for a company. I worked in sales, and I kind of hate this job, honestly. But it gives me good money, and I was able to continue my education in university. And I found this book.
Yeah.
And oh my God, I'm so emotional when I talk about that. It's my favorite story. So, and this book really helped me to continue my work in this company till I found the body school, because it shows me that no matter what job you're doing, you could love it and you could be extremely professional at it and do your best, because no matter what, you're going to your work and you spend 8 hours doing something out there. And if you bring meaning to this work, if you find this meaning in your work, it's like it's a game changer for your life. So when I have any kind of lectures or some public speaking about business and entrepreneurship, I'm always saying about this book. I say, like, guys, if you not so happy about your position in the company right now, something you're doing in life, start with this book, because that will bring purpose without changing your job. And yes, I'm so grateful. If you would speak to him, say that I'm a huge fan. I'm so grateful that he wrote this book. Really.
You know what? So here's what we'll do. One, I'll send him that message. Two, we'll tag him in posting this so
Oh,
that his social media team will at least see it and share the message with him in case he doesn't
yeah,
get it. But
I love that. Yeah, yeah. Thank
that's
you.
wonderful. Yeah, absolutely. His latest book, The Success Money Can't Buy, is something that I read recently, and this is not what we're here to talk about. So, but it's so filled with so many just different little ideas about different things in your life that really drive success that are not money focused. And you know, we tend to define success in our world today as all financial, but the truth is that it's not. You know, there are so many other areas of success. I mean, look at how you're where you're at today, right? And staying connected with a nanny, right? Somebody that you have a life past with and that your daughter is experiencing now, and her. And I mean, this is a definition of success, Sophia. You are building and creating memories for you and your family, and I just love all of those things. So anyway, I got us off track
Thank
with
you.
the whole Robin Sharma thing. Sorry.
Yeah,
I just love him.
definitely understand. Yes, I
I just
definitely.
love him. He's
Yeah.
just, yeah. Um, anyway, then jumping back to the first thing you said, sleep. Sleep is one of those areas that I struggle with. I just, I think it's from all of my years of working night shift and
Mm-hmm.
then working with teams that are in other countries. So I have teams that I work with in India, in the Philippines, in Africa, in Nicaragua. Nicaragua is closer to my time zone. They're only an hour off of me. But, India is 12 and a half hours ahead of me. And the Philippines is 14 hours ahead of me. And so I think Zimbabwe, where I have folks I work with, I think they're about 7
7. Yeah, I
or
think
so
so.
hours ahead of me. And so it's just always a balancing act. And so sometimes that means early morning hours. My first meeting today started at 5 a.m. So I'm up at 4:30 so that I can be ready for that first meeting. And, even this interview for you and I is started at 6 for me. So
You look so fresh. If I would wake up at 4:30,
I'm a morning person. It drives my
I wouldn't.
wife
I would.
crazy.
I would say, like, please don't turn on the camera. So, I would just, yeah.
No, I'm a morning person. It drives my wife, Robin. So my wife's name is also Robin. It drives her crazy that I'm such a morning person. I'll come in to wake her up to make sure she's ready to start for her workday. And she doesn't always rely on me for that, but often she relies on me for that because she needs more sleep than I tend to need. But I will tell you, Sophia, I get by on it's very unhealthy. And I think that you and I will have a separate conversation off camera about this
Okay.
because I will get, 5, maybe 6 hours of sleep. And that is not enough for anyone. It's certainly not enough for me. When we went on holiday around Christmas time to visit my wife's parents, I was sleeping, 7 to 8.5 hours a day because I didn't have other responsibilities that I was worried about. I didn't have appointments I had to be up for, and I just let myself sleep. And so I think I probably actually need that 7 to 8 or 8.5 hours of sleep every day, and I don't know how to get it. So we can talk about that separately.
Yeah,
So
sure. I think I discovered also for myself that to be fully recovered, I would like to sleep for 9 hours. That's my perfect timing, but I could not have so much time for sleep. But I discovered through the COVID time, when I also had no appointment and I was able to go to sleep as early as possible. And I just find out, oh my God, so for my nervous systems, 9 hours is the perfect time frame. But that's a luxury. That's a success in the modern world, not to have a lot of money, but to have 9 hours of sleep, let me
But
say.
to have 9 hours of sleep, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you help yourself? We want to talk a little bit about mindset. How do you help yourself, coach yourself and your clients through days when energy or motivation or confidence are low?
When we start working with client, we always have a first meeting with them, and I think I'm saying it for I don't know how many times throughout my practice, that your motivation level will change throughout the time. It will change throughout the day. So especially for, like, I know myself, when I have my periods, I'm completely another person. So sometimes I'm just asking not to talk to me, not to touch me, because I could
Hey,
be
hormones are
irritated.
everything. Hormones
Yeah.
are everything. They really are.
Yeah, and the hormonal changes could happen to you throughout the week, throughout the day. So, and your motivation level will change. It comes and it goes. And it's really important not to rely, in terms of health routine, not to rely on your motivation itself, because you need to build a system that will work for you independently, a part of your motivation. Because if you're just, we're not motivated maybe to brush our teeth in the morning or in the evening, but we do it every day, every single day. And I think the healthy habits is the same as a brushing our teeth. It need to become the part of a daily routine, no matter what. And maybe it's not that excited. Maybe it's not. Maybe you don't love sport, or you don't love to cook or something like that. But you need to find some rules that gonna work for you in your lifestyle, in your rhythm, to make those healthy habits the part of your life. So we're working for my career as a nutritionist. We work with more than 5,000 people with a completely different lifestyle, men, women, with kids, with no kids, working, retired, etc. So all of these people have different lifestyle factors, and I'm a truly believer that you could find a solution for everyone, but you need to look at the lifestyle first, because something that's gonna work for me will not gonna work for you or for someone else. And that's important, not to follow some basic rules if they're not aligned with your lifestyle. So you need to find a way for yourself to implement those healthy habits as a part of your daily routine. And that's a completely game changer. If you're not following some rules because of your motivation level, that changes completely how you perform in terms of health and wellness.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. And, one of the things you said, you mentioned, that there are times of the month when it's challenging for you. And I will tell you, I don't know if you know this about me, I have 6 daughters, and have been married twice, and how women do what you do, I have nothing but my respect and admiration. I see powerhouse women like you, or like my wife, for example, who just are absolute rock stars, who can grow businesses, work jobs, raise families, do all the things that you do, stay motivated, even when it's hard. My sister, hats off to you. I think it's remarkable. And I don't know how you do it. As a man, it's difficult enough for me to manage my emotions, because I don't even fully understand all of my hormonal stuff. But I really do believe hormones are everything. I have a daughter who is type 1 diabetic, and insulin is a hormone.
Yeah.
And so her body doesn't produce it anymore. And so she has to take it in artificially through her insulin pump. But when
Yeah.
she doesn't have it, it's her body doesn't react well if she gets any kind of nutrition, because everything gets turned into glucose, right? And so when that happens, then her blood sugar skyrockets, and it affects her mood and her memory and her energy. And so if you can't keep those level, it makes things harder. And then during her, she's going to be so mad at me if she listens to this, but during her period, during her time of the month, and a lot of people don't recognize this, as a type 1 diabetic, her hormone levels change, and it affects how the insulin that she's giving herself for her food, it affects how effective it is.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
when she gets sick, it affects how effective. And so it's so, I have just watched from the outside as she has fought through this, her since she was 6 years old, and now she's almost 23. I've watched her fight through, and I've watched her levels kind of fluctuate, like just of her blood glucose. And I can see during certain times of the month. And she gets so mad at me when I'm like, you're struggling. Is it around that time of the month? And she's like, Dad. And I'm not trying to be too personal, but I'm just noticing, because I can see the numbers. And so I find it fascinating. Sorry, I'm just getting us way off of our interview questions, Sophia.
Oh, that's true, but like I just a little off the topic. So when I tagged you on my Instagram, and my team click on your profile, and they just wrote me the same message. Oh my God, he is a dad to 12 kids, like 12, like
Yeah,
12. It's like you don't
12.
have even enough fingers on two hands just to count this amount, like this amount of persons. So that's incredible.
Yes. So yeah. So I do have 12, and we're a blended family. And my first wife passed away. She and I had 7 kids, and then I met and married Robin, and she came in with 4, and then we had one together, and so that is our 12. And they're just the best. They're absolutely the best. I love every single one of them, and I'm just so blessed to be able to have them in my life. And my wife is my favorite person. So there's nobody I would rather listen to, talk to, spend time with. She's the best part of every single one of my days. And so I am so grateful. I'm so blessed.
Yeah, that's how to when we start talking about health and wellness, there's so many areas in our life connected to health, especially even our family, even the people, our loved ones, our friends, this social community we have. It also influence our health. If we are not happy with our family, or we are not happy with our social connection, that would also influence our health and wellness. So it's,
Yeah.
that's a huge topic in general. So that's a lot of points connected to our health.
Well, I think it's one of the things that is so powerful about the work that you're doing. And because you're really helping people to drive and dive into all of those areas and aspects of their life, right? I mean, again, you're not just talking about calories in and calories out. Hey, do this exercise. You're really helping people from an entire lifestyle focus.
Yeah, that's the,
I just think that's beautiful.
thank you.
Absolutely. No, I love it. So here at the Outsourcing Blueprint, we talk a lot about faith and purpose. How do those ideas show up in your business journey for you?
Um, I think purpose is my compass in general, because it helps me in a difficult times, or when I feel tired or uncertain. I try to remember why the body school exists and why I decided to start this journey. And my biggest passion now is to change the generational health habits. And I'm a true believer that one person could change the dietary pattern of the whole generation. So it's how it worked for me. I'm the first person in my family, in my big family, who started thinking about what we are putting on our plate. And I was the only one. I was like an outsider who started speaking about, are we eating enough vegetables, or maybe we should skip eating the pork, because that's a big part of Ukrainian cultural food. We're eating a lot of pork and fatty meat and potatoes. And I started proposing maybe we would cook some turkey or fish or whatever. And now I see like my daughter, she's 4 now, and the way how she understands food, that's incredible. That for her, something that I forced myself to understand and I forced myself to change these habits for me. It's the natural part of her life since she was born. So she sometimes she's coming to me and say like, "Oh, mom, just can you peel a carrot for me, or can I have a celery stick, or can I have something like that?" Some people who see it from the outside, they think they're asking me, "What are you doing to her?" She's asking for carrot, and I'm saying like nothing. They ask me, "Is she having some like reward after she's eaten the portion of the salad?" I said like, "No." She could have an ice cream after if she wants. Sometimes she's eating ice cream and then she's eating salad. So for her, her nutritional routine is completely perfect in a way how it should develop for human. And I know that I was the person who changed it for her. And also I'm trying to do the same for my parents, for my grandma. She had diabetes type 2. Insulin independent, but still she need to control her blood glucose.
Yep.
And I remember how we started talking about like sugar content in different food, how she started understanding. She even lose some extra pounds, and she's now fit. She's 20 no, sorry, she's 92. She's in the perfect health. And sometimes when I bring her some sweets, she say like, "Are they sugar free? Can I eat them?" And I say like, "For sure, grandma, you could eat them because, what could I bring?" And it is happening the same for our client. So when I'm thinking about the purpose and resilience and the phase, I'm always thinking that was the reason why I created this business. And when it's hard, when the business has a hard times, when we're in this continuous shifts on the market shifts in some economical problems. So I'm always remind myself that was a big purpose why I started this business, and I will do my best to keep it going. And yeah, it just helped me to believe in me and my team and in the product we created, and just to adjust the product with the time.
Yeah. I think that's great. And I love that. I love to hear about your daughter. I love to hear about your grandma. That's amazing.
Thank you.
And good for her. She's hit the age that I'm shooting for.
Yeah.
So 92. If I can hit 92, I promised my wife 50 years of marriage. So I have to hit 92 to make that happen. So we'll see what happens. And but I love that. And for me, purpose and faith kind of go hand in hand, because faith really is, for me, an action term. You exercise faith by taking action, and you have done that in building this out and proactively recognizing certain things that, people should be eating or maybe eat more of or less of, and to be able to instill that in your daughter just naturally. It's who she is and what her habits are. That's going to benefit her the entire rest of her life.
Yeah.
And I congratulate you for that. That's the power of good parenting right there. Nice job,
Thank
Mom.
you.
Nice
Thank
job.
you. Yeah.
Absolutely. I have to ask you this question. So I almost skipped past it, but this is one of those things that I really want to get your take on. So things are changing quickly right out there, and there's a lot of stuff that I think is noise. What trends are you excited about in fitness, health, and wellness? And what do you think is just noise?
I think I'm excited that we are finally recognizing the physiological difference between men and women in terms of menstrual cycle, premenopause, menopause, and how they affect nutrition and training routine. And we integrate this into everything we do at the Body School in 2024, based on the recent research in this topic. And another big trend I also see, it's where that we start shifting from weight loss at all cost to preserving muscle and metabolic health. Because I think the dietary culture teached us how to lose weight, but we never saw that sometimes when we lose weight, we also lose the muscle mass, which is extremely important and means a lot for our basal metabolic rate, this amount of energy we spend throughout the day. And I see everywhere from some specialists I follow. I appreciate their work that we start saying fat loss instead of weight loss, because that's something that we need to work on. We need to lose fat, some excessive amount, but preserve muscle at every cost. Like, for instance, we are talking a lot about diabetes type 2, and also insulin resistance is a huge problem nowadays. And the recent thought to this topic was that maybe we have this insulin resistant problem and glucose sensitivity problem and diabetes type 2, not because the body has some excessive amount of fat, but maybe because we don't have enough muscles to help our body to process this glucose amount. So it's the term called not overweight, but under muscled.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I think that's the most powerful trends. We could talk a lot of Ozempic and some another medication, yes, and that would be also interesting topic to discuss, because it's always some pros and cons in terms of weight loss medication. But everything else, especially when we are seeing something outside, someone saying like, stop eating potatoes, or I don't know, some grapeseed oil or something like that. That's a noise. That's a noise, because you need to understand the biochemistry of this processes inside your body to understand, is it that bad for you, or maybe just misunderstanding of the product.
That's interesting. So I'm glad to hear you say that, actually. That just kind of confirms to me that, because I thought I knew really who you are and kind of how you approach things. And that just confirms that I was right. Yeah, there is a lot of noise and a lot of nonsense out there. But there's some, legit things too. And I can tell you from we can talk about, GLP-1s and Ozempic and things like that all day long. I have a little bit of personal experience with those. And I can tell you from my own experience, for whatever this is worth, for anybody that needs to hear it. So, I had weight loss surgery. It'll be 5 years ago in November. And I dropped, and I'm going to use pounds because I'm in America. So that's how I'm programmed. I used to be good at kgs, but less so today. But I dropped 152 pounds. Much of that was fat, but some of it was muscle, because when you have a surgery like that, you go into such a caloric deficit. And, the nutritionists tell you have to prioritize protein first, and then vegetables. And they actually, what they prescribe is a lower carbohydrate eating plan, because you need to get protein and you only have so much room. And then the next thing you should be having are vegetables, because the fiber and the nutrients are so healthy, so much what your body needs, and you only have so much room. So you have to put certain things in priority. Well, even doing that, you can only have so much during the day, right? So I get a lot of the nutrition, a lot of the protein that I get comes in the form of like protein shakes, for example, because I need to be able to, I can sip it, I can still get it, but I can't sit down and have, a large piece of beef, or even like a large chicken breast. It's going to be a small amount. I might be able to have, 4 ounces of chicken, which is a serving. So that's really okay, that 4 to 6 ounces of chicken. But then I'm only going to be able to have, 2 or 3 ounces of whatever else I'm having. So I have to be wise, and tracking is not sustainable. It's been very freeing for me. I spent, 3 solid years tracking every little thing that went through my mouth or into my mouth. Everything, Sophia. I didn't miss anything for 3 years. Every day I tracked. And so I had, which I think is remarkable because most people can't do that.
Yeah, for 3 years, that's incredible. That's a long
Thank you.
journey.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Even doing that, and I could see exactly why, I put, of the 152 pounds that I lost, I regained 80 of them. Okay. Which is what, 35 or kgs or something like
Okay,
that, you know?
yes.
And just over time, slowly, I put 80 of those. And it's like my body was like, yeah, we know that you've done something, you know, pretty significant, but we know who you are. We're going to put the weight back on. You know what I mean? And so my whole identity, I really struggled. And part of the problem, and I don't want to get too personal about this, but part of the problem was I got to my surgeon for my regular checkup, and they said, "Oh, you've hit all of the goals that we set. Your markers are great. Your health stuff, you're done." I was like, "What? I'm not. What? I can't be done. No, no. That's who I am. No, I'm not. I can never. You know." And honestly, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. And so just over time, I put it back on. So my doctor prescribed tirzepatide. So I was using that particular, and I still am, in fact, through a weekly injection. And I will tell you that for me, what it means is it's not like some kind of, oh, suddenly I'm going to drop a bunch of, you know, fat or whatever. It just means that for me, I don't think about food all the time. I don't think about it all the time. It's not an ever driving focus. Whereas before, it was always, what am I going to eat next? And that's not a healthy way to live or think, but the medication removes that. And for whatever reason, whatever the mechanism is, I think it's something to do with blood glucose control. And there's also an appetite suppressant effect of the medication. I don't know the other mechanisms, but that in social media today, they call that food noise. It removes
Yeah.
that food noise almost entirely, a week at a time. And when there have been times when I have run out of that med, so recently, for example, here in the US, they stopped covering it with insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we have to go about it a different way. And so for a little while, I didn't have it. And as soon as the dose wore off, oh, here it comes.
Yes.
You know, I can hear all the voices in my head. You know what you should do?
Mm-hmm.
You know what sounds really delicious right now?
Yeah, that's really complicated question and topic in general to discuss, because food is not just something that nourishes our body, but that's sometimes we struggle so much with all of those thoughts we have about food and what we're gonna eat, what we're gonna cook, and especially when we're stressed, or all of this emotional eating process that's really,
Yes.
really influence the quality of our life. So GLP medication is an interesting topic to discuss, because as a specialist, as a practitioner, I'm not against it, definitely, because I know that obesity and weight problem is so much more than just the food intake and the calorie intake. It's a complex problem.
Yes.
And medication should be supervised by the doctor for sure.
Yep.
And in general, it should be followed by some lifestyle changes, because we're working a lot with people who've been on this medication for more than a year, and they dropped kilos and pounds, but they have some side effects of medication, and they should stop take this medication, and they gain all the weight back. And now it's a huge problem how to help them to lose this weight, because they didn't eat enough calories, they did not prioritize their protein intake, they just started eating less, and they did not exercise, and they lost a lot of muscle mass. So for me as a practitioner, when we working with cases like that, that's a real mystery, and it's a real challenge for us to take someone on board who have been on this medication, did not follow the lifestyle rules, let me say like this nutrition
Yeah.
and workouts. And it will take years for those people, especially women, especially in the age 40 plus, to get some muscle back and to start losing fat, not the weight, but the fat itself. So interesting topic. I think people need to be aware of the consequences, because
Yep.
medication works, but you need to align it with some lifestyle changes.
Oh, 100%. I agree 100%. And I will tell you, as we age, if we do not prioritize muscle mass and maintaining muscle, then we're going to get to, 60, 70, 80 years old, and we're going to be frail, fragile, and feeble. And none of that is okay. We don't want to hit those challenging ages, without what we need to support ourselves. And so the right prioritization, this is one of the reasons that I think that the work you're doing is so powerful, because the medications are miracles. Okay. And miracles are great, but they are not the be all and end all to the problem. They're not. People have to do the things that they're supposed to do. They can't just take a shot and go, woo, I'm done. It doesn't work that way. And I can tell you from my own personal experience, because I have that personal experience and a wealth of it. Sophia, a wealth of it. Okay. This is one of those wealths that money cannot buy. Robin Sharma, one more time. It's one of those things. I'm telling you, if you don't exercise, if you don't pick something up that's a little heavier than you might normally pick up so that you can challenge your muscles, if you don't do the things that you're supposed to do and you just think that this is going to solve your problem, you're very wrong. And you're going to find out at the end of the day how wrong you are, because in order for that medication to be successful long term, you have to stay on it for the rest of your life, like any other medication that you have to take. And if you don't, you're going to regain weight. And it's the reason that you're taking the medication to begin with. I have seen that. I've witnessed it. I've experienced it myself. And it's the same thing. It's not that I suddenly am eating pastries and sweets. It's not like that. It's absolutely not like that. But you will still take in more than you're expending. And bottom line is math does what math does. If you eat more than you use, your body's going to store it. So, all right.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's go for a little bit of a close here. I want to hear about what your vision is for scaling the Body School in the next 1 to 3 years. Any new programs or expansions or partnerships?
Yeah, that our main goal now, we start working on the new markets for us. We start to scale our business because nowadays the Body School covers 32 countries. We have clients from 32 countries, but we want to go more deep into some specific markets we now work on. That's US and UK market for us. And also we want to have some partnership with the brands and businesses who share the same values as we are, because I think that's collaboration is a really important and powerful tool for every business outside there. But you need to find someone who is seeing the business and the product perspective the same as you are, because the value is the core for everything. I just experienced so many times in my career as an entrepreneur and the founder, that if you're not 100% sure about the person who is working in this company you want to collaborate with, don't even start that, because in the end of the day, you will just have a discussion about the values, because you're covering the different values. So it took time for business to find the businesses like that share the same values, but we are working on that. And I think that's really, really powerful tool for every business to bring more
Agreed.
awareness. Yeah.
Agreed. So as your business grows, now you said 32 countries, right?
Yeah,
And so I'm assuming that you have team members that are not all sitting in the same place.
yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah. So you are an outsourcing company, and we are the Outsourcing Blueprint. So I'm going to touch on outsourcing because it's a necessary thing, one, to discuss, and two, what we focus on here really is your business, but also about how outsourcing impacts you. And so you have a team that is scattered across the globe. You have people that you work with all over. Um, how do you think about outsourcing, about building a team? And how does that team help you not only to grow your business, but to really kind of, free up your time to focus on your zone of genius? Because I think you've found your zone of genius, my friend.
Thank you. That's really, I'm so happy that I have this conversation, with you. My self-esteem is growing in this particular moment. So,
Uh-oh, we'll
so
have to we'll have to back the camera out so everybody
yeah.
can. No,
uh,
I'm just kidding.
so I think my team is really important priority for me in business, because when we do any changes in the body school, we think about client, and I always think about my team. So a few years ago, we launched our app. And since we launched the app, I started working on the app for my team to help them perform easy during their workday. Because I know that if the team is happy, my client will be happy in the end of the day, because that's influence how they communicate, how they perform on the workplace. I've learned how to outsource the task that not drain my energy, but they don't require me directly. So I'm powerful at some tasks, but the team, they're not just they're not just employees at the body school, they're experts. And every team member is deeply professional in areas where I'm not. And I'm not afraid to admit that some of them are way more better than I am in the particular areas, and they know about that, and they know that I'm really a good coach. I think I'm a good CEO of my business. I'm really into my product, and I know how to create a good product. But to support this product and to bring this product to a client, I need a team, and I need a team who will help me to support this product. So in the body school, we build this process how we're working like as one organism inside the company. So
Yeah.
we have like as this small paddles that create the big picture, and I'm never thinking about them as my employees, that I'm the main I don't know, that I'm an owner of the business, or I'm the main, I have the main role in the business. Maybe I am in terms of responsibility I have, yes. But when it comes to the decision making process, we are always sitting together, and we're thinking how to do it in the best possible way for our clients, for our team, for our business. And yeah, I think that we are doing great in this term. So we have like 30 people now working in the body school: doctors, nutritionists, fitness trainers, marketing team, social media team, some developers. So it's a big team now, but everyone on its place.
I think that's just magnificent. You're doing a great job. And it feels like as you're growing, because you're expanding further, and as you continue to scale your business and as you continue to grow, I think your team's going to grow. And I think that they are going to find absolute joy in the mission of the body school. All right, last question. And I know we're over
Yes.
time, but last question. If you can leave listeners with one encouragement for their health and their entrepreneurial journey, what would it be?
I would say don't chase perfection, chase consistency. That would be my answer, because when whenever we are talking about health, or creating a family, or building a friendship or building a business or career, sometimes we're trying to do everything at 100%, which is not possible because we have a good days and the bad days. We are motivated, we are less motivated sometimes. So consistency is the key. Just keep going. And I remind myself in my hard times that, yeah, you had a bad day and seems like everything is falling apart and you have some self-doubts. Are you good enough? Are you professional enough? Are you a good mom? You a good friend? Whatever. But just keep going. Just consistency is a key to everything.
Amen.
Yes.
I love that.
Amen.
Yeah, no, that's one of those things you and I agree on a lot. Probably, I don't think there's anything that you said that I haven't agreed with. This is one of those things. What a great place to wrap it up. Persistent consistency will lead you to win. You're not going to be perfect. I think that advice to avoid perfectionism, because there's a tendency, especially in our social media world, to look for perfectionism, but chase consistency, because that's what you can control, is your output, your effort.
100%.
And every day is going to look different. It's not always going to be the same.
Yeah, sometimes you could not sometimes you could not control the outcomes because life happens. It's so many moving pieces in your life that could change, but the only thing you could control is your actions. So just keep focusing on your actions. That's all.
All right. Any last parting words before we wrap it up?
That was a beautiful conversation. Thank you so much.
Sophia,
yes,
you know what?
Thank you.
It's been my pleasure. So, all right, everybody, this has been another episode of the Outsourcing Blueprint. I'm your host, Scott Smith, today with my new friend, Sofia Rozhko. I said that pretty well that time.
Yeah.
Sophia, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see everybody again next time.
See you guys. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Outsourcing Blueprint. I'm your host, Scott Smith. If today's episode brought you value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who's ready to take their business to the next level. Follow me on LinkedIn or on YouTube at Akata Consulting for more tips, insights, and updates. Until next time, keep dreaming bold, building big, and outsourcing smarter. Let's go.